Hearst Castle. Truly one of America's greatest homes. But there's way too much red tape involved to bring our cameras here, so we went down the road a bit to another landmark residence.
Welcome to Nitt Witt Ridge. It's a California state landmark. It was built by a man out of junk, or stuff he collected. He was actually the local town's garbage man for 30 years, and he brought his work home with him. He'd pick up the trash, he'd never go to the dump. 3 or 4 times a day, he would dump everything here. You can see the man who built it, his name was actually Art Beal. The nickname he was really known for around here, he didn't like so much, Captain Nitt Witt. And I talked to a lot of old timers in town. They tell me they thought he was dropped too hard in his head when he's born. So they started calling him Captain Nitt Witt in the 40s, and it stuck. You'll notice there's pillars. They're actually tire rims. They're stacked up and concreted together. That's what Art would use to hold this place up with. He kind of liked the abalone shells. Abalones go throughout the whole property, but there'd be days he'd run out of abalone shells. He started resorting to toilet seats for picture frames. Even if he liked you, he might put you in there. Now, that's one of his idols, Will Rogers. He said he would size people up by their looks. Now, if he liked your looks, he'd let you in. He let a lot of people in. But Art said the ones he didn't like the looks of, he'd start to have shaking his fist at them, say, "Move along, small change." And it is kind of interesting. His thing's still in here from the 40s up to the 80s when they put him in the rest home. I guess I'm amazed anything's left. You start looking around. This is actually from the 1939 Golden Gate Exposition in San Francisco. There's stories he worked as a cook at this, which he's paid. Now Art, he would build a lot of jokes into his house. He has the toilet seat picture frames. Well, you know, this might be to complement that. This is actually his 2-seated outhouse. Art said he put his and her toilets here so he could sit here and have conversations with people. He'd take a coffee break every 15 minutes, which Art described as a coffee cup filled with a beer. And he would call beer cans building materials. When you really start looking around, you'll start to see a lot of beer cans. And you look at the house, sometimes you think maybe it was one too many coffee breaks is the reason he built it. He never had a building inspector up here. All these pipes, all these handrails. This was actually the plumbing system. With all these pipes carrying water, they're everywhere. I'm glad it doesn't work anymore. The man probably ran more electricity than water. He actually had wires and water throughout the whole property at one time. We had people up here from Hearst Castle. He said they hired him at the castle for a couple years to haul stuff away where they're building the place. This is one of the few remaining pieces from the castle that's still here. Sometimes he would sit up there in nothing but his bathrobe. They said he'd just yell at everybody looking at the place. To me, what one man did with nothing created something as good or better than Hearst Castle.